Let's have a quick lesson on adding and subtracting fractions. So before we look at a problem, there's something very important. When you add or subtract fractions, you need a common denominator. It's very important. You have to have it in order to add fractions or to subtract fractions. So if we look at an example, 3/4 plus 1/2. Okay, this top number in the fraction is the numerator. The bottom number in the fraction is the denominator. When we look at these two fractions, 3/4 and 1/2, see that they don't have the same denominator. So we have to manipulate these fractions. We're not going to change the fraction. We're going to make equivalent fractions to what they already are. But they have to have the same denominator. Common denominator is really a common multiple. So 4 and 2, if we write the multiples of 4 and 2, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 for 2, and 4 we have 4, 8, 12, 16, and so on. So we see they have 4 in common, 8 in common, 12 in common. So we could use either one, any of those for a denominator. But if you could find the least common denominator, you should use that. It'll generally make the problem easier. So we have 3/4 plus 1/2. Okay, this fraction already has 4 as the denominator, so we don't have to change anything. We have to change this denominator to 4. In order to do that, we have to multiply this denominator by 2. Okay, but we can't just multiply this by 2, because right now this fraction is 1/2. If we change it to 1/4, it'll be a different fraction. So we have to multiply the numerator by 2 also. So I'll end up with 2 over 4. The reason why this fraction doesn't get changed is because 2 divided by 2 is 1. So essentially we're just multiplying 1/2 by 1. And anything multiplied by 1 is the same number. So we're not changing it. So let's go to the next step. We have 3/4 plus 1 times 2, 2, over 2 times 2, 4. So again, 2/4 is the same as 1/2. We didn't change the number, we just manipulated its appearance. We just rewrote it a different way. Okay, now when we add, we keep the denominator. So we had 3/4, we're going to add 2 more quarters, and we end up with 5. We just add the numerators. 3 plus 2 is 5. Denominator stays the same. And we can rewrite this. This is an improper fraction. We can rewrite it as a mixed number by just seeing how many times 4 goes into 5, because this is 5 divided by 4. Well, 5 divided by 4 is 1, but there's going to be 1 left over. So you're still going to have 1/4. So that would be our answer for adding these. We'll do another example of subtracting. Same numbers. 3/4 minus 1/2. So again, we need a common denominator. We're going to have to multiply this by 2. 2. So we get 3/4 minus 2/4. And in this case, we just subtract the numerators. So 3 minus 2 is 1. And that would be our answer, simply 1/4. Okay, let's do one more example. Let's try 2/3 plus 1/2. So again, we don't have common denominators. So we need to find a common multiple of 3 and 2. So let's list the multiples of 2. Okay, that should definitely be enough. The multiples of 3. And let's see what they have in common. They both have 6, and they both have 12. So we could use either one of those, but let's use the least common multiple. Alright, so 2/3 plus 1/2. We have to make the denominators 6. In this fraction, we have to multiply the denominator by 2 to make it 6. So we also have to multiply this numerator by 2. In this fraction, we have to multiply this 2 by 3 to make it 6. So we also have to multiply this numerator by 3. So now we get 2 times 2 is 4, over 2 times 3, which is 6, plus 1 times 3, which is 3, and 2 times 3, which is 6, of course, because we wanted them to be 6. And we can add now. So again, denominator stays the same. 4 plus 3 is 7. So we have 7 over 6. So this is an improper fraction because the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So let's make this a mixed number. 7 divided by 6 is 1, but there's a remainder of 1. So we have 1 and 1/6. Just to show what I mean by remainder, 7 divided by 6. 6 goes into 7 once. 1 times 6 is 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. So we have 7 remainder 1. So this, whatever this number is, goes here, and the remainder goes on top. So whenever you have to add or subtract fractions, just remember you need a common denominator.